Hi everyone, it's Claire here, and we are about to have an amazing new moon in Pisces on the 27th, 28th of February. Obviously, it stretches over 2 days if you're looking at it from a world perspective. But the timing of it is I've taken from Tanya Gabrielle, because I was looking at a few astrologers' reports and she's been really good and said the timings like no one else did. So February the 27th, it's at 7:45 p.m. That's Eastern times, 4:45 p.m. LA Pacific time. But on the 28th, it's at 12:45 a.m. That's Universal time, London time, GMT, etc. And this is amazing period in astrology because there are at least 6 planets all aligned, and really in water signs, 6 or 7 planets, which is incredible for mystical stuff or mystery, that type of thing, psychic awareness, dreams. And so we've got Venus, which is for harmony, beauty, artistic expression, creativity. Mars, which is energy, decisiveness, and being determined. Jupiter for growth and new learning and new beliefs. And Saturn for patience, discipline, long-term goals. The Moon, of course, for depth and intuition. And Pisces and Neptune, really, for inner guidance, higher self, intuition, and healing. And really about trust being guided, because you couldn't really make that up. That's incredible to have that many planets. And it's about letting go really at this period and trusting in what happens really. So I looked at several astrologers this time as well. And by the way, I think our dreams would be very prophetic at this time and start to predict things for us. So do, if you can, have a dream diary in the next few days as well. And if you can get out to see the planets, go out about 6 o'clock because they tend to be aligned then. You can see quite a few of them, at least 4. Including ones like Mars, and I can't remember them all, but I've shared in my group a bit more information, but you'll see it all over the internet. So I looked at Molly McCord. She'd said about February 27th, 7:43 p.m. Eastern time, and she talked about it being 9 degrees 40 minutes of Pisces, and Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, so you get clarity on conscious choices really. And really it's about being intentional about what are we completing, what lights us up. And she says the Pisces new moon will sort out what we need, and we can assess what we've moved through and what we need to complete or about to complete. So closing out, getting rid of things, baggage, burdens, anything too dense. And what can we step away from? It's also eclipse season really about now, and that starts with the Virgo full moon apparently in 2 weeks time around the March the 13th, and it's a lunar eclipse. So in that eclipse it will show us what we will need to do to adjust to all the changes that are happening, and that really the feeling of it will be about now. And she talks about the stellium of planets in Pisces, and that Saturn is at 20 degrees, Mercury 24 degrees of Pisces, that is the North Node of 28 degrees, and the lots to do with Pisces, which is all about really being consciously aware of what we need to complete and close and step away from. It's good for mental health, but do we need more downtime really, she talks about, and detaching. And Neptune is the ruler of, is really linked with Pisces and a ruler, and it asks us to be brave enough to let go. And Mars 17 degrees of Cancer, which trines Saturn, so it's a stabilizing force there, which might steady our ship, and it supports us slowly going forward and to help us understand what to get rid of. And so there are so many planets in water, lots of planets in Pisces, and Mars in Cancer, also a water sign. So very much about, dreams, energies, and more processing time, more reflecting time, more creativity time. And the Sun and Moon are conjunct, so go forward with Saturn, Mercury, North Node, Neptune. It helps us really to be clearer about things as well. And she talked a bit about as well Sun, Moon square Jupiter in Gemini. So Gemini has a lot to do with good communication and the ability to express, and that although only one planet is in Earth, which is linked, to being stable, and that's Uranus, but that planet destabilizes. So we really must take care to ground ourselves and do not drift away, stay grounded, and we might feel a bit inconsistent. So there might be like one day we focus, but the next day we're not. So we need to be aware of that, really. And really, the Virgo full moon lunar eclipse in 2 weeks will focus on the mind, body, and spirit as well. And also, I think I've skipped actually. Oh no, or have I? No, sorry. And now I'm on to Pam Gregory, and she filmed her little video around the 5th of February, and she talked about what had happened in the past, because she predicted stuff like the seismic activity. She didn't know it was Greece, but she predicted quite a lot of seismic stuff and air problems. So we had that awful crashes, didn't we, with a lot of loss of life around the 30th of January. And some decline in Bitcoin she talked about as well. She thinks that, so around the 18th of February, which is in the past because I'm just recording this on the 26th, the moon was in Scorpio, and there would be big news with Gemini, with lies and deception around the 18th. 24th of February, Mars went direct in Cancer after being retrograde, so it had slowed down. There might have been a lot of emotional feelings, impulsiveness, some irrationality really, and things might begin now to clarify more from now onwards, where there's more motion with Mars, which can be very strong about our energy and direct and so on. So the new moon, she talked about 941 Pisces, Sun, Moon, Saturn, Mercury, North Node, Neptune, and 6 planets being in water. And about setting, it's important to set a new intention. And Pisces is the most sensitive water sign, so you might feel sensitive. It's linked with flooding sometimes, emotional, ungrounded, lies, deception, grief, compassion, fishing, drugs, shipping, addictions, and shadows and things. So there's a lot in the mix there, but very much about psychic development and dreams, because the veil is thinner at this moment with Pisces in action there, and unconditional love, healing, the divine, the connection with the divine, the elementals and ethereal energy, and the magical realms. And also, there is some action to do with Gong Gong, which is a dwarf planet, a Chinese one, and the god of flooding. So she thinks around now might be quite key to do with flooding. And there is a lot of rain today, actually. There's been loads of it. And this is the day before that new moon, really. And also about Celestian mermaid energy, which is a connection with divine. And she thinks March will be a hugely strong month really for what's going on and to do with astrology and energy. And we've also got Pluto surrendering sense to the divine flow, and Mars trine Saturn. So looking at what are we building in the future, plans, what's practical to build. And she talked about what a big year it was for flooding, fires, wars, people losing everything, and it's only February, which is insane, isn't it? We knew this was going to happen. If you follow the astrology, it's just obviously going to be massive for changes. But she talked about living from the inside out, so it really means about living in joy, gratitude, inner peace, so that you can sort of avoid some of all the conflicts that are going on around you, and just stay grounded. And meditation's really good for that. I have actually looked at another astrologer called Maria Savani, and she is lovely and very ethereal to me, and she's really got a good handle on summarizing things well. She talked about the 5 planets in Pisces and the North Node, so 6, or really, you know, this alignment going on in the Pisces connection and water, and that Pisces energy is amplified with the water, which Pisces is opposite Taurus, which is earth, but you know, opposites, they're really there. We've got the etheric, dreams, unseen, healing, compassion, and she talked about tapping into our intuition and dreams, and prophetic dreams being very strong and emotional. And Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces, and look out for synchronicities, and we might get little glimpses of even our past lives, and there may be unique opportunities. So connecting with our purpose and our soul calling and aligning with that. And we may even in this period, which I found very interesting, manifest soulmates. And we may connect with our purpose more, with contracts to do, if you like, with our purpose and why we're here. And when we come here, we completely forget a lot of what that is. But people we meet at this period around this Pisces new moon may be very important and give us a key. So bear that in mind. Mars ends retrograde period 6 of 12th. It began to the 24th of February, and that's around 3 days before that new moon. So it's just happened, and Mars retrograde teaches us why we take actions, and now the actions materialize more for us, and you might see results and seeds start coming to fruition after a quieter period with that Mars in retrograde previously. Venus will also retrograde on the 2nd and 3rd of March, and she thinks March will be practically chaotic. Gosh, well, February's been pretty chaotic, but there you go. Feeling expansion, creation, and the link with the feminine as well, with water. Pisces is water, and that's feminine. The ancient ruler of Jupiter, of Neptune, ancient ruler Jupiter of Neptune, helps us understand more possibilities, and you know, they're in the collective also the changes to align with Earth. We will look at energies that help us expand using Jupiter that way. Jupiter's just an enormous planet, and it has a great deal of reach, so expect some links there. And then we're on to Tanya Gabrielle, the numerologist, and she also always looks at numbers and astrology. And she talked of those times I mentioned at the beginning, and that Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, Venus in Aries, but 6 light bodies, really, she talked about lighting up Pisces and Aries. You've got the end of the astrological, you know, zodiac, and then the beginning, which will be Aries shortly. So Neptune leaves Pisces and goes to Aries, and then Saturn goes to Aries from Pisces. So, and that's around the end of February and beginning of March. So there's more sort of, you know, real flexibility going on. And you've got critical degrees being the 9 degrees, which is the final digit. She's very into numerology, and she talks about that being letting go, unconditional love, release, and something new being born as well. So, and also, if you look at the actual numerology of the 28th of February 2025, if you add up all those digits, 28th is 2 plus 8 equals 10, which 1 plus 0 equals 1, and 1 means a fresh start. I had to work it out. She really goes through it quickly. So let go and begin. So as we clear space, we can call in new wisdom and align people regards our inner awakening and begin the fresh present moment. And dreams, she talked about dreams being prophetic as well. And Jupiter, the big, 12 degrees in Gemini, square to all planets except Venus. So very, very powerful, benefic, being good and abundant. Tune into what makes us happy, and all is well. And Saturn strips the consciousness and dissolves the ego, Saturn, Sun and the Moon helps us analyse better. And she talked about Mars, Trine, Saturn, Mercury. So some giving us confidence in projects. And now no longer is Mars retrograde. And so we get that momentum as we talked about already. And Venus, 1st of March, stations retrograde. So that goes retrograde, sextile to Jupiter. But both Venus and Jupiter are benefics, meaning really good, fortunate planets, positive, uplifting, and that's going to suit, what's going on really well. So it will be happy in, Venus will be happy in Aries and Pisces signs. It's in both. And Venus is about, obviously, love and exaltation, and which is a good thing, really. And really, she talked about 28th of February at 21 equals truth and joy, and 2 + 1 = 3, which is about self-expression and joy. And so all this upheaval is very likely to free up the planet, although it's quite hard to understand it, but it's in line, if you like, with the astrology. There I mentioned what's going on in America. It's just, cathartic, really, isn't it? Well, thank you so much. That's quite a long one today, but I thought I'd put in for it because it's a really, really amazing new moon. Don't forget your new intentions and put your crystals out to cleanse. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.